Hello, I welcome you to this video where we want to discuss the concepts of bearings. Now, looking at the question that we have here, it reads, in the following diagram, A, B, and C are 3 points on the level ground. A is due north of C, angle ABC equal to 50 degrees, and angle ACB equal to 60 degrees. So this is what we can see, the diagram which is being referred to in the question. Calculate the bearing of A from B, then B from A. Okay, so under the concepts of bearing, it is always important to understand the following. Okay, so number one is that you always measure bearings from the north line. Okay, you always measure bearings from the north line. Then number two, you always measure bearings going the clockwise direction. Then number three, you need to express these bearings in 3 figures. So in 3 figures simply means if your calculation of the bearing is, for instance, 45 degrees, so you need to include another 0 so that it becomes 3 figures. So this is 0.45 degrees. You can have 0.45 degrees, you can have 0.60 degrees. That is what it means in 3 figures. So these are important points to understand. In addition to this, you also need to understand that the language under bearings, if we say calculate the bearing of A from B, then the measurement of the bearing is going to be done at the point where B is, starting from the north line, going the clockwise direction, and then expressed in 3 figures, starting from where B is. These are important concepts under bearings. Now let's try to see how we can apply the 4 points that we have mentioned here through the question that we have. Calculate the bearing of A from B. So based on what we have discussed here, A from B meaning the bearing is going to be measured at the point where B is, connecting the direction of the bearing, which is going to be the clockwise, to the line BA. So we are saying it's going to be at B. Now for demonstration purposes, let's consider what we have here. So we are saying the bearing is going to be measured here. Now, if we're going to measure from this point, we need to understand that we need to start from the north line. So what we have here doesn't show the north line. So we are going to elect the north line. So this north line should be parallel to the north line that we already have here. So I'm going to draw a north line or the north pole coming from that end. It's going to come down like this. So this is going to be the north line coming from where B is. Now we are saying you start from the north line going the clockwise direction. So the clockwise direction goes like this. So it's going to go like this all the way up to where B and A line is connected. So this is the bearing that we need to calculate in the question as requested here. Now, when we look at what we have here, again, there are some angle properties that we can apply. So how can we calculate this bearing from this point all the way up to the point where the arrow is? So already we have a 50 degrees. And when we look at the 2 parallel lines here, okay, these parallel lines have been joined by this transversal line cutting through from C to B, okay, making the angles that we have inside here to be equal. So this angle at this point, okay, the angle at this point is going to be equal to the angle at this point inside of the the diagram that we've drawn here. So we're saying this angle here, okay, is going to be equal to the one that we have here. Meaning if we have 60 degrees here, this also is going to be 60 degrees, okay? And if this is 60 degrees, again, we understand that the straight line angle is supplementary, meaning it is also going to be 180 degrees. From that end to the other end of the line, this is 180 degrees. So it's 180 plus the 60 degrees plus the 50 degrees, which is going to make the bearing of A from B. Having said that, we are saying the bearing of A from B is going to be 180 degrees plus 60 degrees plus 50 degrees, which is going to give us, so 60 degrees plus 50 degrees will give us 90 degrees plus 180 degrees. We are going to have 290 degrees, or simply put 290 degrees as in 3 figures. So this is the solution to the first part of the question. I hope it makes sense. So again, we are basing our calculation on this. Always start from the north line, clockwise direction, 3 figures, then the language F from B, then you start from B. Let's move to the second part of the question, which says calculate the bearing of B from A. So again, based on this, B from A simply means our calculation of the bearing is going to be done at the point where B is, sorry, at the point where A is. So in this case, we are going to measure at this point, starting from the north line, which is here, coming all the way to the line joining A and B. So I'm going to use this diagram. So starting from the north line, we are considering the bearing of B from A. So starting at here, at where A is, we are going to go like this. That is the clockwise direction until we reach where A and B are joined. So this is the bearing that we need to find. Again, when we look at what we have here, we are still applying the same concept. These two lines remain parallel, and they are also joined by another transversal line, which is cutting through from the points A and B. So meaning the angle at this point here is also going to be equal to the angle on the other side of the diagram here. So meaning if we add 50 plus 60 degrees, it is going to be the same as what we are going to have at this point. So we are saying the bearing of B from A is equal to 50 degrees plus 60 degrees, which is going to give us 110 degrees as a 3-figure bearing. So that is what is supposed to be done. So having said that, again, the emphasis remains on the points that we have highlighted here. Always from the north line, going that clockwise direction. You can't go anti-clockwise or the opposite. You go that direction, then express the numbers in terms of 3 figures. Then the language, if we say P from Q, P from Q simply means you measure your bearing at Q, starting from the north line, going that direction, which is the clockwise direction. So that is all in this video. I'll see you in the next one.